What's up, family? Welcome back to another video. So today we're diving deep into some real talk about basketball marketability and why some players are getting the spotlight while others are feeling overlooked. All right, let's set the stage. So we're talking about Aja Wilson, okay, family, a dominant player in the WNBA, MVP, Finals MVP. She's got the resume. She got the game. But here we are again with the same narrative as last year. Wilson claiming she's not as marketable as Caitlin Clark because she's black. Now, before I go any further, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100% real here. Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers. We're talking about a preseason game against the Brazil national team drawing 1.2 million views. Meanwhile, the WNBA semifinals featuring Wilson's Aces in the New York Liberty pulling in at 850,000 views. Think about that. A preseason game outperformed a semifinal game. That's not about race. That's about star power, narrative, and likability. So now that I have prefaced the conversation, family, I actually want to get into the article. So as you guys see, the article reads, as it says, WNBA star makes delusional claim about race and money. We go down. It says WNBA star Aja Wilson continues to make wild claims about race. The Las Vegas Aces star is a dominant force in the league, but she also invites a lot of controversy and criticism for stupid comments. Specifically, Wilson appeared to have an issue with the attention Caitlin Clark, the woman responsible for elevating the league, received after joining the Indiana Fever. She told the Associated Press the following in 2024 when talking about race and marketability. I think it's huge, quote unquote. I think it's a huge thing. I think a lot of people may say it's not about black and white, but to me it is. It really is because you can be top notch at what you are as a black woman, but yet maybe that's something that people don't want to see. They don't see it as marketable, so it doesn't matter how hard I work. It doesn't matter what we all do as black women. We are still going to be swept under the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race because it is. Closing quote. So it says Aja Wilson continues to complain about race, while anyone who was hoping Wilson would just focus on playing basketball is in for a big dose of disappointment. The New York Times recently released a lengthy profile of the Aces player, and again, she claims she's not as marketable as someone like Clark because she's black. And then she said, quote unquote, it's 100% about race. And it's one of those things where we can sit there and say that all the time, but there's going to always be someone that's like, well, no, you're just making it about race, Wilson told the New York Times when talking about race and marketability. It's important to point out that Wilson has a deal with Nike, and her signature shoe sold out within minutes of hitting the market. You think she'll be very happy with all her success, especially because few WNBA players have endorsement deals. It's clearly not good enough. The basic reality is that she couldn't be more wrong when it comes to race and marketability. America has nothing against black athletes. In fact, some of the most popular athletes in the world are black and they're racking in cash. Michael Jordan is a billionaire in large part because of his relationship with Nike. LeBron James might be woke and insufferable, but he's also probably the most recognizable athlete in America. The list goes on and on. The idea that American consumers won't buy products tied to black athletes is so comically stupid that it's hard to believe it's a serious argument. And most athletes would give anything to be in Wilson's situation instead of being grateful for all the success she's earned. The Aces star just continues to complain and make delusional statements. It's sad to see. Let me know what you think. So that was the article. David Hookstead is a reporter of Outkick who covered this topic of Aja Wilson basically being ungrateful. And now I want to have a conversation with you guys. I prefaced the conversation, I read the article, but so what's really going on here? Is it race? Is it likability? Is it something else? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about marketability and what it really means, okay? It's not just about being a great player, it's about being someone people want to root for, someone who draws people in. Michael Jordan, biggest name in basketball. His Jumpman brand is still selling out decades after he retired. LeBron James, polarizing but undeniably marketable. Serena Williams, a global icon who turned her sport into a stage. All these athletes have one thing in common. They're not just good at their sport, they're compelling personalities. You don't see them race baiting. You don't see them having a bad attitude. You don't see them saying things, um, attacking the very league and the very thing that have prepared them and elevated them as part of their greatness as they continue to put in the work. I'll give you another example, right? And women in corporate America, right? The women who seem to not do right when it comes to corporate American jobs and women working at a business, right? Being a unit secretary, being a property manager, whatever the case may be. Being a leader in corporate America requires to be likable, to put on their best foot forward and their best impression every day, looking nice, looking clean, smelling good, being very endearing to the people, creating conversation with the people, not sitting there gossiping about her salary, not having a hasty attitude, but she understands as a manager or property manager or whatever in corporate America, taking on a leadership role that she represents the face of the company. So having a great demeanor, right? And being able to communicate effectively and be uncomfortable, constantly being out of her comfort zone to continue to elevate as the face of the company in that leadership role. So for example, her engaging and interacting constantly and consistently with colleagues to get the sentiment of concerns and stuff going on in her leadership role to be a leader effectively and handling business and making sure her P's and Q taking care of her P's and Q's and making sure everything is running efficiently and effectively in the company as a leader, representing the leader, being soft, being nice, being likable, being approachable. So what I'm trying to say from a corporate American example, let's translate it over to basketball. Think about Steph Curry, undersized, overlooked, doubted. Now he's one of the most marketable players in the NBA history. Why? Because he's relatable. People love the underdog story. He's likable, he's fun to watch, he's a family man, and he can shoot from anywhere. That's what people gravitate towards. Something that they can realistically resonate with that is marketable. Not making excuses and being ungrateful, making yourself a race baiter. Because the very thing that you talk about is the very person you are. So, family, I ask you guys, let's take it a step further. Do you think AJ Wilson is racist? Let's just have the conversation. Respectfully, we just having conversation. Let me know in the comments. Because if you look at AJ Wilson, she got a Nike deal, shoe deal. That shoe sold out fast. She's top tier athlete, but is she a likable as Caitlin Clark in the eyes of casual fans? Not so much. And that's not a knock at her game. Her game is elite, but marketability isn't just about talent, it's about how fans connect with you. And this right here has nothing to do with being relatable to a young girl that has dreams or to be inspired by AJ Wilson by just being a competitive, humble, top tier athlete with a Nike deal endorsement, which most women in the WNBA do not receive, and continue to grind her pants off and tell her story about where she came from and her actually being marketable to the people by giving some value in regards of how she continued to still be at this elite tier so others can be inspired and actually resonate with her to be marketable, right? Instead of talking and having this dialogue of division, and as long as you keep having this divisive dialogue, it won't happen. Shaquille O'Neal is another perfect example. Dude is everywhere. Icy Hot, General Insurance, Papa John's. Shaq made over 60 million in endorsements last year. Why? Because he's relatable. He's funny. He's approachable. People want to see him even off the court. So when AJ Wilson says it's 100% about race, no. You're free to do what you want to do when you want to do. You having a conversation about race. The only person that I feel that is using race to stand in their own way is Aja Wilson. I mean, look at the numbers. Michael Jordan is black. LeBron James is black. Shaq is black. Serena Williams is black. These athletes have made millions, billions, in MJ's case, because they transcend the game. They're likable, they're compelling, they're magnetic. Meanwhile, the WNBA lost 40 million last year, and every time someone like Wilson makes statements that come off as victimhood rather than empowerment, it turns off a lot of potential fans. Not because of race, because it sounds like complaining instead of competing. And that's not what fans want to hear. So what's the real message here? Instead of focusing on why you're not marketable, focus on why you should be and make the adjustments. Think about Steph Curry, Shaq, Serena. They're all personalities beyond their sport. They're approachable, engaging, and they know how to keep people interested. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you agree is Asia being overlooked because of race, or is it a matter of likability and narrative? Let's talk about it. And as always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more real talk on sports and culture. And also, I just want to add this um, as we close. This is why black fatigue is becoming a trend on TikTok. I'm starting to see around. And I want to add this as a question to you guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments because we just having a conversation. Black fatigue is basically they're saying white people are tired of black people complaining and then blaming white people for that very circumstance instead of them just being more approachable and being more likable and stop being in the victimhood and actually build themselves up and also uplift their communities and stop just trying to blame the sun, the moon, the sky, and most specifically white people, because white people are tired of being accused and being looked at as racist as an easy thing to fall on when things don't go their way when it comes to black people running in the victimhood and running in the victim Olympics. For example, like a person like A.J. Wilson. Let me know down in the comments below. And I'll take it a step even further. Even black people are tired of other black people complaining. So black people have fatigue on other black people. But let me know down in the comments below. I just wanted to add that in there because it's been a trend going on TikTok. And as always, we just here to have a conversation. Spread that peace, love, and positivity. Let the love supersede the hate, and always, family, unity over division every single time. That's what makes us stronger. We come together stronger and uplift each other. That's the best thing we can do. And that's the only thing we should be doing every step of the way. Peace.